I've started a while back to make a series that deals with like voicings, chords, and company, different styles. The first one was like the LA pop, Mike Landau style. This was more, again, West Coast, so to speak. This is more like the Steely Dan, Miles Davis to Marcus Miller kind of sound. And I will suggest a few things because really, like most of the times, to be honest, if I think about my life as a musician, I tend to comp most of the time. A lot of these videos are about licks and shredding and technique and stuff like that, because obviously that's cool, that's fun. But if you want to make a living with playing guitar, you need to learn how to play chords again, and how to comp and learn to play songs really. And this is like a jazzy a stratagem, let's call it that way, to make your tune sounds cool, especially if you're into that kind of style of playing, like Steely Dan, Marcus Miller, let's call it like 70s to 90s pop fusion, so to speak. Of course, I will make some examples in this video, and there will be a backing track as well that goes with this video. So check out the links in the description as always to if you want to jam over that backing tracks, and I will make an example, as I said, in this video later on. Well, the sound in itself, this kind of idea comes from a chord in fourths. Okay, so let's make an example of E in fourths. E minor 11 would be in this case. Okay, so I can take the top part of the structure and I can move the bottom two notes, that fourth at the bottom, by maintaining the top note. And it gives me this sound, which, as I said, is quite typical in that type of fusion. And there are certain locations where I can do that with this kind of structure lives. It's all based on the pentatonic roughly. So I can go it's quite typical of that style of playing. So I made a couple of studies, and then I put together a minor blues, and this is what we're going to see in the next few minutes in this video. You can see that the first location where that chord in fourths happens, it's right here, the 10th. And the example brings up this moving the two fourths of the bottom up a half step, and then down a half step. Then the next location would be with the top note on the 8th fret, that G. And I'm doing the same thing basically. I'm moving the bottom two notes, the fourth at the bottom, half step up and half step down. Next location would be with the E on top. And I'm doing the same thing. And then the very last location is with a D. At the bottom. You can hear that sound. It's just such a recognizable, like 80s fusion kind of sound, so to speak. Marcus Miller, as I was saying, that type of thing. The next example, just in a different key, is with A on bass, and the location is pretty much the same. Okay, so I'm going to be moving down to the same voicings with a G on bass, with a G at the top. Then I will have the same with the E at the top. And then I will have the voicing with a D at the top. Of course, these chords being quite ambiguous, it's not really about the key, it's about taking out of the key, taking that the sound out of the key. So difficult to talk about keys in this case. It's just locations where there are chords in fourths, okay? And this is something that you will learn a bit at a time by using chords in fourths. So just to show you how you can use these in context, I have put together a tune called Cooler Blues. And it's the classic 12 bar, 12/8 shuffle blues, like a A minor, okay, that kind of vibe, so to speak. And because I end up on that, on the voicing, I bring down the fourths twice, the bottom fourth. So I go from A minor 7, I go down to that voicing in fourths, and then I bring it down like I've done in the previous example, bring down the fourth at the bottom of another half step. And then I go in the other direction. Then I go to D minor, as you would do in a minor blues. Up here on the 10th fret. And I do the same thing. Then I go back to A. And I go up in this case. And then I add something that, again, is quite typical of that era, the parallel voicing. So you take a voicing in fourths in this case, and you move it in a way that is not diatonic. So you just move it, in this case, in minor thirds. So I'm going from E minor 11 to C sharp minor 11, so down a minor third, and then go to D minor 11, down a minor third again. This is what's called constant structure. I made a video about it. I will link it in the description, as always, if you want to check it out. It's a particular sound that is quite used in jazz fusion, and R&B and other styles. And then I go back to A minor. Actually, if you really want to get that Steely Dan sound, so to speak, when you use this E minor 4 or E minor 11 chords in fourth, a quick substitution, you can go a minor third above. So you know that from a minor chord, you can substitute a major 7 chord, a minor third above. So, you know, in classic Joe Pass style, if this was just a regular E minor 7, that G major 7, a minor third above, would be E minor 9, okay? And a Steely Dan voicing is that slash chord, so let's say in this case it would be D over G. And if I then, so I would call these E minor 11, okay? And if I use that pattern of going down a minor third, and then again, up a half step and down minor third. This is so Donald Fagen, Steely Dan. It's such a classic thing. So just another little substitution you can make to make it sound a bit more genuine within that style, so to speak. And then again, I go back to A minor. And I play another slash chord. So instead of playing E7, or E7 sharp 9, which is what I need to go back to A minor, I play this chord here, which is E7 13 flat 9. And you could see it as C sharp triad, major triad over D, which is the flat 7 of E. Okay, and that's the chord. And then I resolve it to E7 sharp 5, but with the 7 at the bottom. So this is the example in full with the backing track. right. Well, I hope this was of some use to you. I will continue with this set of videos about comping and chords. I think I have one to do with country music, like country pop music, which is quite useful for more songwriters, and one to do with funk, which we will do in the near future, or put together in the near future. As always, like, subscribe, share on social media if you can. That really helps the channel to grow. And remember that there will be a backing track connected to this video where you can jam along to and practice all the stuff that you hear in these videos. And the sounds that I played, they are from my preset pack for Tonex in this case, but it's a preset pack that is free. You can make a donation; it's very much appreciated, and it's for Line 6, Tonex, and NAM. And So yeah, that's it for today. Take care. Bye bye.